So, back by popular demand at AoTATX, astronomy in the news. So we've got a lot. We've got a lot today. We're gonna cruise through kind of quick.
There has been a lot of astronomy in the news in the last month. So yeah, we're gonna zoom through this, and we're gonna start on the low and ramp up, right?
Yeah.
So here we go.
So some of y'all might have read BuzzFeed is my new favorite and most respected journal, apparently. So about a week and a half ago, BuzzFeed broke that there was a Title IX harassment investigation by UC Berkeley, my grad alum place. And the result of that investigation was that Jeff Marcy, a former now professor at UC Berkeley, was found in violation of sexual harassment policies, had harassed and assaulted multiple women over decades. The university basically said they couldn't really do anything to censure him. That was unfortunate. So UC Berkeley astronomers, the undergrads, grad students, postdocs, and faculty all wrote open letters, stated online. There were many letters, many blog posts, many articles saying that, this person should not be in our department. It is unsafe and it's bad. And then 2 days later, he resigned. And so he is no longer faculty at UC Berkeley. He's not associate faculty at SF State. If you want to read online, there's a hell of a lot of articles and open letters and statements from people on all kinds of stuff. The hashtags were astrosexual harassment, astrosexual assaults. And so that is out there and probably improving the universe.
So the reason this is a huge deal is that this is not one terrible guy at one place. This is actually a really, really big thing in astronomy, science in general, but obviously we know astronomy. As a woman in astronomy, any department you visit, you have to tap into this underground network that tells you which men to avoid. These guys are everywhere. They're at UT. They are everywhere. So this is a huge deal because people finally responded. We can't get the entire internet to rally around every time this happens, but it's a start. So in recognition that this is a huge problem for our field, and also because this has got so big, we want to make it absolutely clear where we stand on these kinds of issues. We are introducing a code of conduct for astronomy on tap. I mean, we've always had this. It's been implicit. We're making it explicit. We want everyone here to feel safe and welcomed, whoever you are and wherever you come from. If you ever have any concerns, and that can be you're being harassed, it can be the people in front of you are talking, like we don't care, let us know. We have a hotline. This is our number. 512-560-2997. Let us know. We will do something about it. Right. Fun stuff.
All right. So the Project Apollo archive, you can check out this Flickr account. This was, I guess, started in 1999 by Kip Teague. He put all these pictures online that were mostly just sitting in Johnson Space Center down in Houston. But he's now scanned these really high-res 1800 DPI images, really just unprocessed raw stuff. Amazingly beautiful. This image is amazing. You can find thousands of them online. So check it out on Facebook or Flickr, the Project Apollo archive. Amazing images from the moon, never before seen, really.
All right, this was a new 4K video that was released by NASA of Jupiter. It's so beautiful. It looks pretty rubbish on here because this projector is only 1080p. Only. So HD is not good enough anymore. You need to look at this on a 4K screen. It's really amazing. There's science in it too. The Great Red Spot, which just went over the screen, has shrunk by 150 miles since 2014. It's still pretty big. It's bigger than the Earth, but it's getting smaller. This is some massive storm that's been raging on Jupiter for hundreds of years. They've also found that there's these kind of swirly things in the northern region of the equator that looks like cyclones in Jupiter's atmosphere. So this is really cool. Go online with a better screen and check it out.
All right. So you've heard, if you're a long-term Astro on Tap ATX fan, you have heard many times about Ceres and these mysterious-ish, now less mysterious, bright spots on Ceres. There are new images coming back from the Dawn spacecraft of Ceres. There's an interactive map. You can click and drag and fly around, which is pretty rad, so Google that. And these bright spots, which are maybe ices or salty deposits, and Dr. Comet is in the audience somewhere, so you can bug him about, right in the middle there, you can bug him about the most up-to-date results of Ceres.
So who here has seen The Martian? Ooh, it's a great movie. I think it's fantastic. Best science fiction movie in ages. If only this result had come out a bit sooner, Mark Watney would have had a much easier time. So it turns out Mars has running water. It's not great water. It's kind of salty. I've heard people say that no life could live in it, but I'm unconvinced because there are plenty of places on Earth that we've said, oh, no life could live there, and it turns out plenty of life does. Life's pretty tenacious. So who knows? Maybe there is life on Mars.
Something near and dear to my heart, the Veil Nebula, a remnant of a supernova. So thousands of years, tens of thousands of years after a supernova explodes, you have these beautiful wispy nebula left over. So Hubble Space Telescope has made or taken some new images, high resolution, beautiful color. Again, check it out on your big screen at home or your computer screen. There's even a simulated fly-through where they try and reconstruct it in 3D. We didn't want to show that here because it would probably crash our laptop, but check it out. Veil Nebula, very awesome.
So if you were here in August, you may have heard us talk about name exoworlds. This was announced at the International Astronomical Union meeting that we were at in August. This is the first time the public has ever been invited to officially name astronomical objects. There's a selection of extrasolar planets that you can vote on the names of. The voting of this closes on October 31st, on Halloween. So if you do want to get your votes in there, do that soon. And this has been in the news just in the last week or so. This is WTF-001. It's a star that's been observed by Kepler, which we heard about at last month's Astronomy on Tap. Kepler's looking for dips in starlight because of planets transiting across it. Now, if you've got a planet moving in front of a star, you would expect the dip to be the same every year being that planet's orbit, and you would expect it to be regular. So in this one, you can see a whole bunch of dips. There's a little one here, another broad one here, a great big one here, but none of these dips are the same. They're not regular, they're not repeated. So what this is telling us is this isn't the same thing going in front of the star over and over again. It's many, many, many different things. So if you actually read the paper, and we only noticed today when we were putting this slide together that one of the co-authors on this paper here is Trent Dupuis. Who is he? Is he here?
He's right there.
He's right there. So give him shit
it.
about this paper.
Woo!
So if you actually read this paper, it's pretty boring. They say this is obviously comets that have broken up, and so there's lots of bits of comet floating around in front of the star. That is a boring-ass explanation, because it could also be aliens. So this is Professor Jason Wright, who actually visited UT last year, was it? Yeah. And gave the best colloquium I have ever seen. He literally, the guy who was introducing him, who was Adam Krauss. Is he here too?
He's also back there.
He was back there. He was our speaker last month. He got up to introduce him, and he said he works on, I don't know, finding exoplanets through radial velocity measurements or something. But when we were in the bar last night, he said he also looks for aliens. So I thought we'd have a little show of hands. Who wants to hear about aliens instead? And we all went. So we heard about aliens. And a few grumpy old guys got up and went, well, I'm not listening to this. But then there were some other guys walking past the classroom who went, oh, this looks way more interesting than was advertised. So it was a net zero, I think. Anyway, this guy is awesome. He's a legit astronomer. And what he's looking for is things called Dyson Spheres. So all civilization is limited by energy. And ultimately, I mean, all of our energy comes from the sun. Right? The energy that we use the most is the sun grew dinosaurs, and we dig dinosaurs out of the ground. But ultimately, if we're going to keep accelerating our technology at our current rate, we're going to have to start putting things in space to collect that solar energy. And so this is what we expect aliens to do if they're more advanced than us. So he looks for these big structures in space collecting solar energy. And this is exactly what you would expect to see if one of those things exists. So as he says in his quote, aliens should be the very last hypothesis you consider, but it could be aliens. So so this is my favorite story ever.
It's good. So yeah, it could be aliens. Could be aliens. Also, real quick, the Orionid meteor shower is upon us. So pre-dawn hours of tomorrow morning and the following morning, the Orionids, named after Orion, you can see sort of where they come from in the sky. The three stars of the belt of Orion are pretty easy to spot. All you need to see a meteor shower is a dark sight. You don't need a telescope. You don't need binoculars. If it's chilly, bring a blanket or sweater. But get to a dark site. Middle of Austin, probably not great, but getting outside of town a little bit will be great. The moon will be up kind of bright for most of the night the next 2 nights. So you really got to wait till it sets, which is sort of the few hours before dawn. But this is the leftovers of Halley's Comet, which I just learned the other day. So every year in October 21st, 22nd, the Earth's orbit passes us through the trail of Halley's Comet, and all the little bits of stuff that fell off of Halley's Comet is what we pass through, and that's what we see as a meteor shower. So check that out. Hopefully it'll be clear the next couple of mornings.
And finally, we want to introduce a new website to you, which was created by our very own Dr. Bowtie.
Who's right there.
Who is right there. This is McDonald Observatory's Ask an Astronomer at askanastronomer.org. If you can't wait for the next Astronomy on Tap to pose your burning astronomy question, you can post it on this website, and it gets passed on to an expert in the relevant field, which includes us two, and probably most of the speakers that we've had here at Astronomy on Tap from UT and McDonald Observatory. So check this out. We might also steal ideas for future Astronomy on Tap talks from the most popular questions, except the ones about Nibiru. We are not having a talk about Nibiru.